911, what are you reporting?
We got someone or something crawling around out here.
Did you see what it was? Was it a person or an animal or?
I can't tell. All I know is that my sensor light came on and I just happened to glimpse and see this thing running across the yard. A good-sized man or something. It looks like a man. I don't know what it was, just that it ran across the yard.
Okay. You've had problems in the neighborhood before?
Yeah, my dog was killed here just recently. Jesus Christ, you better...
Sure.
Dio!
Hello?
Get somebody out here.
What's going on now, sir?
That son of a bitch is about 6'9", I don't know.
Do you see him now, sir?
Yes, I'm looking right at him.
Uh-oh. Okay, hang on.
He's right...
Is he in your yard, sir?
Yeah, God, he's big.
Okay, what's he doing in your yard?
He's looking at me.
Okay.
You're listening to Sasquatch Experience, the podcast. The classic Bigfoot podcast has returned with Sean Forker and Henry May. The show starts now. And there we are. Hi, folks. It's me, Sean, the Fork Chop Forker, Henry May.
Yeah.
And Vance Nesbitt. And I saw a picture today of a bear that went into a convenience store in Lake Tahoe.
Yes.
And I swear to God, there's a picture of a guy with a bear, and it looked just like Vance. So I sent Vance the photo, and I said, "Hey, Vance, were you in Lake Tahoe today? Because you have to admit, Vance, it looked a lot like you, didn't it?"
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was embarrassing, but yeah, it did.
Yeah, well, you can't win them all, but it was pretty. It was a good doppelganger for you, anyhow.
Mm-hmm.
And
I was intrigued.
Yeah, and you got to think about that right now with all these wildfires and everything going on. These animals need to go somewhere for some food and water and shelter. So, my heart just goes out to all those folks out west with these fires. Just tremendous tragedy. And, sad thing is some of it can be so avoidable if we would just be better people. Now, granted, there is a natural cycle to this, right? There is a natural burn.
Yes.
But, damn, we don't help things out too much.
No, and we'll stay away from politics, or otherwise we're going to get into the Republican Sasquatch, Democrat Bigfoot conversation.
Yeah,
I don't want to do that.
No,
land management it's huge. And granted, it comes from government funding to manage those lands. Are you going to blame those people? No. Look, wildfires have always happened since the beginning of time. There's evidence. And it's nature's way. It truly is. I mean, it restores, and from the ashes comes anew. And so, yeah, it may be tragic for those that live in that area. And believe me, my heart goes out to these people. My heart really doesn't go out to people that build, elaborate homes right on a cliff overlooking the ocean and then complain when the cliff gives away after a hurricane comes through.
Yeah.
That's, up to your insurance company if they want to cover you for that. But, in the out west, of course, we're well aware of the fact of the wildlands and the forests and even natural rainforests out there. But yeah, lightning strike or malicious intent. And the next thing you know, you have acres upon acres. And we're talking, almost millions of acres engulfed in flames. Yeah. And yes, we could do a better job. We do suck at a lot of things. And, I also give consideration, too, to the wildlife that has just been eradicated, and so everything from, the microscopic to the bears and deer and God knows what else that's living out there that's affected by this.
There's always stories that come from these incidents of, the supposed Bigfoot that was burnt and, came out and was rescued by the firefighters. Henry, the one I'm talking about. I think it was Battle Mountain, Nevada,
Battle
right?
Mountain.
That was a big story. No validity to it that we could prove, right? But a hell of a good story. Bigfoot comes, out of the woods being severely burnt, and it kind of stumbles upon some firefighters, and, they go to rescue it, and it becomes sort of a government kind of cover-up after that. But these stories, I'm sure we'll hear more of them, especially with the climate the way it is. People love a good conspiracy. We can't avoid it, even in this field, as much as we would like to. We can't.
No, it's human nature, right?
Yeah,
Always have to have a conspiracy.
Absolutely. Henry, what's new with you? What we kind of have a loose format tonight, folks. This was supposed to be the recap show of Baker and I's trip to the International Cryptozoology Museum, but Maine doesn't want us as visitors right now due to COVID-19 restrictions. And so Baker and I did something else.
That's what they told you.
Yeah,
that's not necessarily the case.
They probably ran a background check. On it, us rapscallions. But
is this the same James Baker that? No, we're closing our borders.
We you don't want none of us. But yeah, so the format's kind of loose tonight. But Henny, what do you got for us, brother? You're always a wealth of talking points.
Well, I've read a couple of I've read a few books. I read Bigfoot Across America by Philip L. Rife.
Yeah.
Yes.
That's an old one.
Yes, it is, from 2000. And my initial review when I first read the book years ago, I'd said that it was only, a wannabe of Bigfoot case book, but I changed my mind on that. I think it has some good reports in it. I think it's got reports up to the year 2000. So. Mm-hmm.
Henry, why did you initially say that? Why initially did you review it just like a ripoff of the Bigfoot casebook? Maybe not a ripoff. I might be, throwing some shade there, but what made you feel that way?
I don't know. I guess at the time, maybe I was feeling a little bit surly or something. Who knows?
You feeling a little surly? Yeah, that's what I do when I'm feeling surly. I write bad Bigfoot reviews for books. That's an exciting life you got there, Henry. But we love you. What else have you done? So you did change your review, though. I will say that. So
yeah,
you did change your mind, and folks, you're free to do that. You're not stuck with one opinion. You can definitely change that over time. So what else you got there? What else did you look at and review? What's really got you going?
Well, there's this controversy going on in Nebraska right now with a lady. She runs a Bigfoot museum there
in Nevada.
No, Nebraska.
Nebraska. Okay, Nebraska.
And she has an American flag, which was braided. It was torn and braided. And she claims she believes it was done by a Sasquatch, which you can't say that because nobody saw the Sasquatch do it. I mean, it could have been just some sick vandal that did it.
True,
it could be. Yeah, I mean, but the whole preface is that Bigfoot did this, right?
That's what she's claiming. Or that's what she's got it on display at her museum.
Okay, I have to call bullshit on this, and I say this only for the fact, over the years, Bigfoot has become a masterful hairstylist, from braiding the manes of horses and now American flags. We really attribute some great talent to these beings that may or may not exist, right? So I just love how we take these little issues, these little kind of pieces of nothing, and turn them into big stories and exhibits. I don't know. Maybe I'm just getting a little bit more cantankerous in my old age.
I think so. Mm-hmm. I mean, there's video coverage, I think, that National Geographic did some years back with an orangutan. And it was in captivity, but it had a very open expanse in which it lived, and it lived with others. But they laid a handsaw, and it figured out how to use a handsaw by observation, whatever, and it sat there cutting a log. And so if you're learning through observation, who knows what's possible? I don't know. I'm just trying to play devil's. And hey, there's plenty of them that I can call. I just found out that there's, YouTube has Bigfoot videos on there that people have recorded. Every one of them must be the real thing, right?
The problem is, and Henry, we'll get right back to you. I do this to you all the time. I'm sorry. People put these videos out there and these sounds that they hear. there's nothing to say they're not putting some sort of Bluetooth speaker or something behind the camera and broadcasting. I heard one today that sounded just like the soundtrack to The Legend of Boggy Creek playing in front of a game camera in the middle of the night. And I didn't comment on it. It was just a thought I had to myself. And one of the many groups I get added to and belong to. I don't want the fight. I don't want the argument, right? I've got better things to do. I really, after reading some things today, I firmly believe some people get off on Bigfoot Facebook arguments. I'd rather take my head and nail it to the wall than participate in some of those mind numbing. And people on all sides, people just can't be civil anymore, right? Nobody knows.
Oh, come on now. There's plenty of civility, right?
Yeah, more bullshit. That's what tonight's show's called. Bullshit.
This is a family-friendly Disney show, Sean.
Well, good.
If
you haven't familiarized your family with bullshit yet,
yes,
bullshit.
Boy, you are as ornery as I was a couple of weeks ago. So now it's your turn.
I'm on vacation this week, and I'm working the honey-do list. You know,
okay. Well, you're doing a fine job.
Yeah, no,
and I will tell our listeners that I did get a preview of the new homestead look, and it's very nice and cozy and comfortable.
2020 paint collection from True Value, whatever brand they're affiliated with this year. Got to support local, right? Shop mom and pop. Love Bars Hardware over in Cemetery Street in Williamsport. Gotta love them. They will be
where's
watching.
My plug bell? Wow.
Right? Ding. Ring the bell.
Ding, ding, ding.
So, Henry, back to you. What else we got before I went off on that little diatribe of bullshit?
And what else? I got another copy of Bigfoot on the East Coast. I think I wrote a review of that one.
Is that who wrote that one? Barry?
Rick Barry. Yeah. And
I have that one.
That's a rare one. That's a classic, though. It's a rare book. It's hard to get a hold of.
Did you send me a copy of that years ago?
No.
Wow, that was definitive.
No. Henry sometimes he did send me some books though. I got a copy of Meet the Sasquatch from him and some other books. I know I have a copy of East Coast Bigfoot though. I don't know if you gave it to me or maybe I got it at one of the auctions or something somewhere.
Maybe so.
That's why I thought you gave it to me because you always spend about $1,000 at these Bigfoot auctions. So. I love him.
Right.
I miss him, guys. We need to get past this COVID stuff and get back to having some conferences because I miss my friends.
We need to get back to Mothman. Exactly. I was very depressing this year for me personally.
Yeah.
I was glad to see you and Bake, able to get out on the road and at least participate in something in the same time frame. And there were others that, made it out and about. But yeah, it was kind of a bum for me that we didn't all get our moment in the spotlight again at Mothman, but they'll be next year, and that'll be the 20th anniversary, I believe, will be next year. So hopefully that'll be explosive, I hope, in a very good way.
Well, let's not say that. 2021 has to be better than 2020. Anyway, so you got another copy of that book. What else we got, Butter?
Well, no, I mean, that one really, Rick Barry did an amazing job with documenting all these different sightings on the East Coast.
Water. Yeah. And that was really before the internet. And it was really cataloging the old fashioned way, right?
Yes.
You gotta, we can't have one of these shows without talking about the guys that really, paved the way for us today, that really went out there and did it the old-fashioned way, right? Collected reports. Without them, we really wouldn't be sitting here today talking. That book, like you said, Henry, there's a lot of these books that have popped out that are really classics that everybody should have in their library, and that's kind of a good segue. I just picked up a copy of Bigfoot Sasquatch Evidence.
Grover Krantz, yes.
Dr. Krantz right there.
Absolutely.
And I got a copy of The Discovery of the Sasquatch.
Yes.
From Dr. Bindernagel. These are, they are not short reads. They're definitely going to have to be one. They're a pot of coffee apiece books right there. But they're going to be worth it. Cliff Barrickman recommended them on his reading list, and I love Cliff. He's a good dude.
Yeah,
the
he
privilege
is.
of having dinner with him last year at the Bigfoot Adventure Weekend, and it was great to be able to talk to him. But also, like, you gotta today's researchers that are at the forefront, you really gotta respect their opinions. And when one of them says pick up a book and read it, pick up the damn book and read it, guys. Like,
Right.
part of this is a field that would benefit a lot more if people read the books. It would answer so many questions that you would have, so you wouldn't have to go out and ask the same questions that many of us have answered for the last 30 years.
Right.
And
Well agreed.
anything by John Green is
Oh, yeah.
well recommended. Well recommended.
Now, he had his detractors too, right? Like, I think every Bigfoot author out there could say that. If you want a good book that kind of gives you an overview on the subject, Lauren Coleman's Bigfoot: The True Story of Apes in America is a great primer for people, because it touches on a lot of things that was happening in the Bigfoot world. And it was always a good book. Has a great cover on it too. Has a Paul Smith painting on the cover, Henry. And that's a great book. I encourage you guys to go out and get these books that we're talking about.
I have a signed copy of that one, of Lauren Coleman's Bigfoot: True Story of Apes in America.
We have some great backstory stories. Of
Oh,
those
that's
when,
awesome, though.
Henry would lose his crap with Lauren Coleman, and we've had fun over the years, haven't we, Henry? I smile and reflect back on all these moments because we've had a lot of fun, a lot of frustration, a lot of disappointment over the years in this field. But we've always, at least you and I have always been able to be civil together, Henry, even if we were on the opposite sides of the coin, right?
Mm-hmm.
I saw a name out there today that I hadn't heard in years. Janice Carter.
Oh my goodness.
I saw her posting, and Janice is convinced that Bigfoot are people, and she's not the only one that holds that opinion, right?
Right.
I don't know where I stand on that issue. I have not always had a great past with Janice Carter. Henry, yes, I could see the smile light up his face. That was damn near 20 years ago, but it is what it is. Some people's opinions haven't changed. I still think the imagination's a wonderful thing. And until science says otherwise, like that's where we're at.
Did y'all see this alert that came out of Wisconsin? It was supposed to be some alert about Sasquatch in the woods. Turned out to be fake.
Yeah, they had to come out and actually say, this was a hoax, that we weren't posting this, and they had to put out an official public statement, like the Game Commission of Wisconsin had to come
right.
But that's the times we live in. These people get out there. Yeah, there we go. I had to react to the chat.
That happened a couple of times over the last year. Right.
Got any garlic? And that's a story in itself, right? Wisconsin's got a lot of cheese, not a lot of garlic, maybe. I don't know, but
hey, man, they're my neighbors.
They are right over there. Why don't you go over and get us some Wisconsin cheddar? Ship some to us. I will not be offended by gifts of cheese, folks. If you're out there,
no, okay,
if
very
you want
good.
a mailing address, just message us at Sasquatch Experience on Facebook. Email us at squatchexperience@gmail.com. You can also go to our Patreon and become a supporter. Patreon.com/Sasquatch Experience. We've got one backer so far. He's a good friend of ours. And this isn't about making money. This is just to keep kind of lessen the load off us, right? Because everything comes out of the In My Pocket fund. And I'm not James Baker. I'm not independently wealthy. I still have to work for a living. So you want to send us your rubles, we'll take them. We'll take anything tied to currency. Just not livestock.
Rubles, marbles, Canadian money, doesn't matter. Take it.
Hey, depending on how things end up, Canadian money might actually be worth it. So your garlic cheese.
Lyle Blackburn's releasing a new book, the Boggy Creek Case Book.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
Yeah.
Interesting cover art.
Yeah.
It's interesting. Lyle has always had an overall great presentation, and not just his own physique, because he's a handsome bastard, but I mean his own all his books have just been phenomenal. Like, they've looked great. They've read well. I'm a fan, and more folks should get out there. And he's a friend. Like Bake and I went to visit the Fargiorgios, Eric and Carrie Fargiorgios, the Bob Ross of Bigfoot. That's what we call him.
Mhm.
And he's got some great stuff coming out. He's working on a project for us at some point here. That's going to be really cool for the listeners. Now I'll fill you guys in when we're off the air.
Lyle's newest book, Sinister Swamps.
Sinister
Definitely
Swamp.
recommended reading. Yes.
Great book. That's
Yes.
and again, looks fantastic. It nothing to me like makes a book more attractive than its cover. And like if it's got a really good cover, yeah, I judge a book by its cover. They say you're not supposed to, but you know, if it doesn't look like it was printed from government cheese labels, you know, I'm not really that interested in it. But if it's, you know, Lyle, like I said, it puts together a whole presentation, and you know, kind of segued back to Fargiorgio. He's got a lot of great artwork out there. The Art of Eerie Eric, and you folks got to check it out. He's got some great shirts out there, and we like to promote our friends that are true blue researchers, but they have a love of the subject, and that's what it's really about. You know, the commitment, the dedication, and the appreciation you show, not just the subject matter, but some of the people that have really paved the way for us here. And that's why we continue to do these shows. I'm a big traditionalist in that respect. And yeah, some people are assholes, but most people in this field overall are really nice and really great. And if you do something, you know, you scratch my back, I'm definitely going to scratch yours. And that's why we have this out.
Ooh.
Don't get too excited, Vance. I
should have told me that when we were at Mothman.
Hey, it wasn't more than $20. That's the
And a cup of coffee.
I keep moving my microphone, so I almost knocked the damn thing off the desk, which was terrible. Would have been terrible because it would have landed in my crotch, and that would have been a much different noise than the Henry May.
Wow,
project.
this is such an adult show tonight.
Yeah.
Wow.
I still, by the way,
pulling out all the stops.
Steve Coles, the Squatch detective, found that audio clip and sent it to me, Henry.
Uh-oh.
I haven't figured out how to play it on here yet, but I've got it back, baby.
Oh, you sent it to me, though.
Yeah.
And I almost, because I was driving when I listened to it, I almost hit the guardrail laughing.
Yeah. You know,
because I knew
Wilmo,
immediately what it was. Yeah.
Gene Wilmo's in our chat room. I love Gene. He's really one of the greatest human beings to walk the planet, a true brother. I love this guy. And I just have to say, because he's here and he's showing up and giving support, that I miss the hell out of him. I haven't seen Gene since last year. Actually, 1 year to the day because of Mothman, and it sucks. I have such a great time with Gene. He does so much for the people in the Bigfoot world behind the scenes that nobody ever sees, and the man deserves an award himself.
And he's a great bodyguard, too.
Hell of a bodyguard.
He'll keep an eye on your shit.
And
he will be the bodyguard. He's a good guy.
I guarantee you, 90% of you can't keep up with Gene Romo.
No.
I kind of think he's like the Ric Flair of the Bigfoot world, to be honest with you.
Hey, this show is dedicated to the passing of Animal. How about
we do
that? Warrior Animal.
Yeah. That was sad.
Yeah.
You know, unfortunately, these things happen, though. People die. It just sucks because it seems like 2020 has been a miserable year.
Right.
It's been terrible. Oh, my
Chicago lost one today. Gail Sayers passed away.
Yeah, Gail Sayers, yeah.
Not a good day for celebrity deaths.
No, not really. Not at all.
You know, that comes in threes.
Oh, I got to go, guys. I got to go to my bunker.
Listen, I fell off a ladder while I was painting my living room today, hit an end table, and I thought it was the end of my world. As you get older, and I'm not that old yet, by the way, but as you get older, things hurt a lot more than they used to hurt.
Oh, yeah. Just wait.
Yeah. I don't want to wait. If I keep falling the way I'm falling now, I ain't going to make it. Anyhow, none of this has anything to do with Bigfoot. Anyhow, back to the subject.
Yes, it does. I'm sure Bigfoot goes through the same. I used to be able to climb that tree in about 3 seconds. Now it takes me about a minute and a half. This is getting old stuff.
You lose that mental confusion, so you can't mind speak.
Right. There's another subject. Let's mind speak.
Vance, what did you have? You had some talking points for us tonight, or did Henry steal them from you?
No, not at all. Actually, no, he didn't take any. He's speaking of. he's speaking of books. If I were literate, I would read a book too. But no, there's a couple of videos that have been out there for years, and I'm not speaking of the PG film. Just a couple other videos that kind of interest me. One of them is the tree thrower from Alberta, Canada. And I understand, look, 99.9% of all these videos are out of focus. And I get a lot of that. There's a lot of cases when you pull the camera up and you're still looking at whatever the subject is with your eye. The camera has no idea what it's supposed to be focused on unless it's manually adjusted. And I'm sure that accounts for a lot of the out of focus and, Bigfoot is blurry, that whole meme and story. But the tree throwing one from Alberta is kind of interesting to me because it's threatening. And I put myself in that situation, and it's a short clip. If nobody's familiar with it, it was just recorded on a phone device of some sort, handheld device. A few other people were there, and they heard the noise, at a tree line. I'm guessing from how the video was set up, it was probably 75 yards away. You see a shadow that's kind of humanoid and javelins what looks to be a birch tree with no branches on it. And just from looking at the video, maybe the birch tree was anywhere between 2 to 3 inches in diameter at the base. But when you look at whatever it is throwing it, it hauls that thing for quite a distance. I would challenge anybody to be able to throw a tree that looks substantially long, at least like maybe 12 feet long.
I'm going to play it here. Let me know if you guys can see it. Can you see it?
Yes, I see it. Yes,
okay.
I do see it.
This is Thinker Thunker, and I actually enjoy this channel quite a bit, but this is the video you're talking about.
Right.
Yeah.
And, that's a javelin throw right there. And that tree actually travels pretty far. So
I've seen this before.
And once you see a land, you can tell it's the same color as the birch trees in which are standing, or living birch trees. I don't know. That would creep me out. I wouldn't even have to see the shadow. You see a tree coming out of the woods there, you can see how white it is once it's just about to hit the ground.
That thing looks pretty big too.
Yeah, it does.
Like the being itself, the figure.
Right.
This thing looks really.
It does. It seems to have a lot of mass width-wise. And it kind of looks like maybe in an embankment. But thanks to Thinker Thunker on that one.
Yeah, thank you, Thinker Thunker.
Right.
Yes.
And
did that work out okay? Did people in the chat, did you see that?
It looks as though I saw it on the chat that I've got up here. So yes. I'm not going to, spread the kudos to Thinker Thunker. It's an opinion, but he looks at it very skeptical to begin with, and I do appreciate that. Not everything is a Bigfoot. So,
no, you're right. It's not.
But that video is kind of compelling to me. What was the other one? A YouTube channel, Blue Tracker. He did Salt Fork.
Blue Tracker. That's our friend Dave Nowalski. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Dave Nowalski.
Yeah,
right.
That's it. Nowalski. That always gives us name. We all know Blue Tracker, Lowrider Bob. Like we know who they are, Henry.
Right. You're
guys.
the encyclopedia over there, so yes, of course he knows.
This guy right here. This guy. Oh.
Nope, other way. There you go, that guy.
He's the Bigfoot encyclopedia right there.
Yes, he is. So if any of our watchers ever has a question, regardless of how you think it may come out, ask Henry over there. He'll be able to direct you in the right direction or give you an outright answer.
That's right.
But his Salt Fork video is, even though it moves around a lot, seems to be a lot of activity. And of course, we all know over the years, Salt Fork seems to be quite the hot spot. And I know you've been there, Sean. So
problematic for me now. It's because it's so well traversed and so well visited. It makes you wonder if it still retains its, I don't know,
untouched. Yeah,
watchiness. Right. I hate that word, but does it still retain its it's mystery. I don't know. A lot of the serious researchers that I know that investigated there don't really go there much anymore.
Mhm.
There's a lot of hot areas in Ohio, though, neighboring Pennsylvania, which I still say is a much more active state. Prove me wrong. And it's a little rivalry, PA-Ohio rivalry.
No,
but,
I agree with you.
Nonetheless, it's an area that's had a lot of activity in the past. It's where the Bigfoot conference is held. So there's an aura about it, but who knows? The only thing is I don't like going out on conference weekends because you have hundreds of people now out there trying to do the same thing. And if you think you're going to find something, you have to be absolutely crazy to get it in the park that weekend. Now, there are people that will meet at the park and take you to other places, which I've had that invite many times, but it's more of a networking event than a research event. I'd hate to tell people that it's like a 3-day bender for some of us, but a lot of fun.
I can tell you from experience that Mike Feltner and them took me out to where was it? Woodbury Wildlife Area.
Yeah, Feltner and Eric Altman had an experience at the handicap picnic area that 1 year. This was before the conference became a really big deal. I think this is when Don Keating was still running the conference. They had that experience. I could be wrong on that. Definitely the timing could be wrong, but they had an experience there at the picnic area.
Their experience was in 2008. So Don Keating was still running the conference at that time.
Again, encyclopedia right there.
Yeah, right. There's proof right
but
there.
You've been out with Feltner. I've been out, was out with a few researchers, Melissa Hovey, Monica Rollins, Wayne Larson, and a bunch of other researchers. And I heard something in the woods, so I ran towards it and clotheslined myself with a tree limb.
Ouch.
And typical
I'm not laughing.
Me fashion in all my grace, ass over tea kettle. There I went. But it's still a great time. A great time.
You probably felt like World Warrior Hawk. You probably felt like World Warrior Hawk hit you with a clothesline.
There was no rush there, Henry. It was all embarrassment and humiliation. But what do? That's what happens when you don't know your surroundings and you go out running all willy-nilly in the dark. Things happen.
I'm not sure I've ever run willy-nilly in the dark.
You got to live a little bit, Vance.
What is willy-nilly? I don't know.
I don't know if we should address that on a family show, as you keep to say down there. Family show. There's a family show, Sean. Got to keep yourself good.
Yeah, family. Sean. Disney.
Bullshit.
Keep it to Disney. All right. The only other video. And of course, there are a bunch out there. Don't get me wrong. I'm just, kind of skimming across the top. And I'm going to probably say this, and Henry will fall over going, dude, that's a hoax.
Now, real quick, before we progress, Henry, that tree throwing video we watched, has that been proven to be a hoax?
Not that I'm aware.
No?
It's a very compelling video. I've seen it several times, and I've seen it on Thinker Thunker's channel.
Yeah.
And
I rely on Thinker Thunker, to be honest with you. I don't promote YouTube channels a lot, but it's one of my favorites. I think there's a lot of thought that goes into it, and it's practical, and I really appreciate it. So if you're watching this, thank you, Thinker Thunker, and keep the good old videos rolling. I enjoy it.
Right.
Now go ahead.
The only other one, and I believe he did an analysis, it's called the Independence Day. Typically a female that picks up a baby, and that coverage is rather clear. That's not blurry like a lot that you see.
Me?
And I'm sorry.
Can you link me to that? Can you?
It's called the Independence Day video.
All right.
If you subcategorize it under Bigfoot, just do Independence Day video. And Thinker Thunker may have it. I believe I've seen it on his channel too, so that might narrow it down.
It's called Independence Day
video, right? But that footage too, and if you happen to pull it up, it's relatively clear. But what really stunned me was the physique is so similar to Patty, and from the buttocks to the leg is just astounding to me how similar to Patty, and then it goes behind a big boulder and picks up a baby and walks off with it. And I was like, wow, that's pretty compelling video right there.
Hold on here.
And
I'm going to share my screen again.
one, okay. And I don't know that one's been debunked at all. I know I haven't seen anything that was debunked on it.
And let's see. Hopefully this is the thing.
A log, another year. I don't know if there was a log involved in it.
No, I don't know what the hell that is. That's not what that said.
That's a log.
Is this it?
Yes, this looks like it. Yes, correct. And I think the video runs, maybe 30 seconds, 40 seconds.
There it is.
Yeah, it's pretty compelling, but when it comes up with a baby in its arm and walks off the same way Patty walked off in the PG film is kind of remarkable. And of course, there's been enhancements, to give a little more detail. Yes, there is enhanced video to give more detail, but it's behind that big boulder there for a couple of moments. Maybe, telling the kid to be quiet, whatever, and pick it up and sneak off. And I know but wait, it'll walk away and you'll be able to see from the buttocks to the leg how similar it is to Patty.
Well, look how quick it moves.
Yeah.
My only issue is it almost looks like it's filmed at like a zoo. It's
You know what? You're right. And the location was given. It is a touristy area, and it was taken clearly on Independence Day, which is why it's named that.
Yeah.
I don't know if there's an enhanced, but
I don't know. Right there, that kind of was hard to justify.
Yeah.
That looked costumey, but I could be wrong.
Yeah. Well, again, I'm not saying it is. I'm not saying it's not. Oh, yeah, the baby's moves there. Oh, yeah. But if you look at an enhanced version, like I said, you'll notice that the buttocks and the leg is so similar to the PG film.
But wouldn't you almost think that it would look like a man in a costume?
Well,
wouldn't that be your first?
Isn't that the argument? Right.
Wouldn't that be your first initial reaction? Like, there's a man in an ape suit out here. What the hell's going on?
I mean, didn't Joe Rogan ask that question? So
I don't know.
If it's a person,
he's usually high when he does these shows. I might try that philosophy.
Hey, I just mentioned to a friend of mine tonight. He just signed a contract for $90 million a year to keep doing what he's doing.
Hey, good for him.
I'm like, wow, we need to sign up on that. I'll only work 1 year, and then I'll get out of your hair. I'll be fine with that. So anyway, those are my 3 that I pulled off the top that kind of have me questioning. It's interesting.
Well, before
it's compelling, and
anybody that watches this stream later, we don't own the videos. We just showed you where to find them. We use them from YouTube, and I don't have direct links because I just Googled the things myself and pulled them up there. But Thinker Thunker, we can credit with one, and I don't know who to credit with the other. But thank you for those videos.
Yeah, we didn't see Blue Tracker, but that's okay.
Oh, and Blue Tracker.
And you don't have, you don't. But hey, just go to YouTube and look it up there, and you'll find those videos there. The clarity is not there as much, but there's so much activity in that video going on that it's kind of crazy. I really personally think he walked into a gathering where they were kind of spread out. And the interesting thing is there was a doe that was within touching distance of his camera. And the doe did not seem to be alarmed by him more so than the activity going on around it. So it's all in compelling videos. And
it's been great videos. We had a great time talking about this stuff tonight. Trying to keep every episode to about 45 minutes. That way we don't bore people to death, and I don't get bored to death. Because it happens.
You don't bore me, so yeah.
Yeah, well, you're a bunch of boring bastards. Sometimes.
Right. And if you could send me a link to you running willy-nilly, I would appreciate that.
You'll never see that because it doesn't exist on video, to my knowledge. Does not exist.
I've seen other videos of hitting the ice and going down on the ice. That's fun.
That's great. I'll play that one on our next show. What was that, Henry? What were you saying, bud?
I was going to say, why don't we touch on the controversy with Haskell Hart and Igor Burtsev a little bit?
Yeah. Well, Henry, I've never heard of this Haskell Hart until today. Like, I don't get into the Sasquatch DNA stuff because there's been nothing really compelling from it that's driven me to it. I'm a little ignorant to it because I don't know. It's a lot of academic, a lot of bullshit that I just don't understand. And you have 50% of people saying this was great work and the other 50 saying it was bunk. So like you put it together and my mind just boom. Like I don't know which way to go with it, but this Haskell Hart, I guess, wrote a book, and I'll let you take it from there, and then we can talk about it a little bit.
Well, like I said, he wrote the book, and it's apparently counter to Ketchum's study. I'm not sure what he feels about the Brian Sykes study, though. I think this is more focusing on the Ketchum study. This is not really focusing on the Brian Sykes study. So,
the problem is what I read, Henry, is people were like, well, Sykes he was forced to come up with the fact that it was just a bear. He was, his arm was twisted to make that determination. And I don't think that's the case. I really don't. It doesn't make any sense to me.
Well, again, I mean, all I know is that Dr. Hart has written a book, and it's out there. It's available now on Amazon.
What was the title of it?
Oh gosh, I'd have to look at
I'll
it.
Find it quick for us because I've been following this thread on Facebook today. Because Igor himself posted a review or a rebuttal to it or something, and it became a kind of a trending. I don't want to say trending,
but it started. Yeah,
the Sasquatch Genome Project: A Failed DNA Study is the name of the book. And it's not, I guess it doesn't lean very favorable to the Sasquatch Genome Project, but that's not new. Like, even after it was released, like the controversies that surrounded it, like it was only published in a journal they started, and there wasn't a lot of real academic peer review to it. And, those were the problems I had with it initially. Like, I'm not going to say it was junk because I didn't, read it, but based upon what some of the more expert individuals have posted about it, I kind of saved myself some time. Maybe it warrants, Vance, us getting into it and reading it a little bit. I don't know. Well,
from what I understood, the entire report that Melba Ketchum did, you had to be a scholar in order to even understand what it is that you're reading. And I think that's where a lot of the criticism started with her to begin with. I don't know what your knee-jerk reaction is about Dr. Ketchum. I have no idea.
I really don't have an opinion about it.
Yeah,
I don't know her.
I don't
I've never
either.
interviewed her. I'll give her the benefit of the doubt on that.
I've listened to her interviews. Okay. I can take it or leave it. I can't say that what it is, but from what I understood from reviews of the report is that you have to really be scholared in the DNA and chemistry and understand and I'm going to put it to the way it's like biblical terms that a lot of people don't understand. Well, what does this mean? And you're constantly going to the dictionary to get a definition of one word in a sentence filled with words that you don't understand. And I think a lot of people found that as a speed bump or an excuse for her to sell what it is that she was selling. So, I understand the controversy. And of course, you can't really go to any corner in the Sasquatch community without finding some sort of resistance when you go there. You think you might be getting away from it, but you're still interested. And sure enough, somebody shows up next to you and gives you crap for it. So
it wasn't well received. It wasn't what it was made out to be for a lot of us. And it was just overall disappointing. And the same thing with the Dr. Sykes thing. It was also disappointing in the same respect, not maybe to the same level as the Melba Ketchum study, but just because of the outcome, right? But you have two really different outcomes. And I guess some of the argument people made is that the DNA might have, I think in the Melba Ketchum, it came back human to kind of prove that this thing's a type of person, but that's not outside the realm of possibility, but it doesn't really tell us a lot. You know what I mean?
Right. I mean,
I don't-
no, it doesn't tell you a lot, but you could put pieces together without any concrete evidence.
No, I know
That's why we don't have a Bigfoot, because it's a human and it has to be protected. And if we made it available, yes, it shares human DNA. Now you got civil rights, and now you're running down that road of insanity. So yeah. it's
Well,
dangerous.
It is. And, while trying not to, go down the, this discussion, which won't, by the way, ever, I don't think until we get a body is ever going to prove anything, right?
Mm-hmm.
We just have to just keep trucking along.
Right.
But our social media is down at the bottom. Sasquatch Experience on Instagram, folks. Follow us. Facebook, that's where you're watching this probably, or on YouTube. Subscribe and send us messages. Same with Twitter, at SquatchEXP. On Twitter, we're socially active, folks, just like we are on our sister show, Super NRML. We like to be very interactive with you, the listeners. We got different things posting. Got a lot of stuff up the pike. This is our kind of season premiere. We took a little bit of a hiatus because of a lot of things going on.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't the time to continue. We all needed a little break. I think the mental fog was starting to clear us all. We were getting caught up in the day to day, and it was just too much. But if anything, we're back. We enjoyed doing this. Our next show will be a little bit more prepared, like a good Dijon mustard, and will be a little bit better for you.
That's the best
Sean,
you could do is mustard. Oh,
well,
okay.
hey, I like the Grey Poupon, but of course. I'm Sean, the Fork Chop Forker. You can find me by going to Facebook at Sean Forker, at Sean Forker on Instagram.
In case you don't have a gam.
Twitter. You just find me everywhere. I'm done. Folks, Henry, tell where people, I'm done. Henry, tell folks where they can find you, because I quit.
I'm on Facebook. My name Henry B. May. That's me. That's me on Facebook. And my email address, in case you want to get in touch with me there, is hbsquatchmay@yahoo.com.
Yahoo! Well done.
Excellent.
Good job.
Vance, where can folks find you? Unemployed after this week.
You can, after this week, probably unemployed. Yeah, you can find the Vinny Boo Boo over here in my my little cave over here. Facebook, Vance A. Nesbitt, because yes, there is another Vance that lives out in California, and we don't get along. And over on Instagram, Vance _ Nesbitt with 2 T's, NESBITT _ NRML.
There you have it. That's where you can find us. And I quit. It's been fun, guys. This is the season premiere and the season finale of all this bullshit. No, I'm kidding. We'll see you in 2 weeks, folks. We'll be back. Stay to our Facebook at Sasquatch Experience for more information. We'll see you next time, folks. Thanks for listening.
Mm-hmm.